Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, and today we're getting some more Master League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. So, we've entered the portion of Season 4 where we have Master League battles and Master League Premier Cup battles. And with those Premier Cup battles coming back, I'm seeing Togekisses more than ever, just like I was seeing last season, which is when I created the team of 3 we're going to showcase today. If you've been seeing a lot of Togekiss leads, I highly recommend this team. We have a very versatile Mon in the lead position to deal with those Togekiss leads, but also deal with other meta Mons that you're going to see in the lead position, and that Pokemon is Magnezone. Magnezone obviously walls Togekiss very well. It does very well against Metagross, Dragonite, and Gyaradoses, and performs well against other Mons within the Premier Cup meta. It's a core-breaking type Mon, and the team of 3 I put around it helps deal with its weaknesses, because those ground types coming at Magnezone are going to give it a hard time. So that's why we got Gyarados, and that's why we have Togekiss in the back. So if you're excited to see Magnezone perform well in the Master Premier Cup, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's check out this set of battles. Now, obviously, it's been known that Magnezone is a strong Mon in Master Premier Cup battles. I'm not here to just specifically feature it. It's just the Pokemon that brings this team of 3 together very well. The team of 3 is what I'm here to feature, with the Gyarados as a safe swap, and then Togekiss essentially serving that closer position really rounds out this team well. So we're going to get into the set. I perform very well with it. We catch quite a few Togekiss leads. Let me know how many Togekiss leads you have been catching in these Master Premier Cup battles, and let's get into the first match. So we're going up against Omni 111, and let's see if this first match is going to allow me to catch a Togekiss lead. We got a Metagross. We don't mind this lead either. Gotta play this a specific way though, because an Earthquake will one-shot Magnezone, and my opponent doesn't want to even play it that way, so they swap into their Shadow Machamp, and my Togekiss will have an absolute field day with this. They did not perform enough counters here to get to a Stone Edge, so I have no problem not shielding this, on top of the fact that once I charm down this Machamp, I know the Metagross is coming in to farm down my Togekiss. But because of the way that that was played, and their Metagross coming back in, as much as Magnezone performs well against Metagross, I have another Pokemon that counters Metagross even better, and that's Gyarados. So I bring in Gyarados here because the team comp I'm seeing is Metagross and Machamp, and I recognize this team comp. This team comp usually has a third Pokemon, Dragonite, and I definitely would prefer to have my Magnezone up against that Dragonite than my Gyarados. So I overfarmed a little bit there, kind of a bit of an overtap, going for the Aqua Tail. These waterfalls are chunking away at Metagross. I'm making sure I save shields, or at least I keep this in even shielding situations, but now that they shielded when they throw that next charge move, I have no problem shielding, but they pulled off a great swap here. They went into the Dragonite just like I was expecting, and they unfortunately caught this Aqua Tail. I go into my Magnezone here though, and I still have shield advantage, which is huge. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not even going to waste my time trying to bait. I'm just going to throw back-to-back wild charges, and whatever charge move they get through, because Dragonite wins CMP against Magnezone, I will use a shield on. My first move goes through. I guess they were expecting or hoping that their win condition was me essentially baiting. So I landed that, and because I landed that, I have no problem not shielding. I then go for the mirror shot here, because this will do plenty of damage and do enough to take out the Dragonite's remaining health. It ends up taking out the Dragonite, and I'm expecting that Metagross to come in. I'm hoping that I can get to a wild charge here to force that last shield, plus I still have both of my shields, so even though this Metagross is going to be able to farm me down, I will be able to bring Gyarados back in here and comfortably waterfall chunk away at this Metagross. Now, I do have to be not cautious. They're going to get the 2 Meteor Mashes here. That's what I have 2 shields for. So that's essentially just going to happen here. We get a little bit of lag, which is unfortunate. But again, this is playing out exactly how I wanted it to play out. And everything lined up perfectly. So in this kind of situation, when it's a Metagross lead, if you have a feeling that there's a Dragonite in the back and you can line up your Gyarados with that Metagross, that's definitely preferable instead of having Magnezone against the Metagross. Also, something to take note of on this team of 3, I'm running Gyarados with Waterfall. It counters Metagross better, and this team has a weakness to Magnezones in the back. The Magnezone lead isn't the worst thing in the world. You can play out the mirror match, it's not ideal, but in the back, Magnezone slaughters. So at least having Waterfall and Gyarados allows Gyarados to kind of chunk away at the Magnezone, because they're dealing neutral damage, and the Magnezone's pretty glassy, whereas the Dragon Breaths would be resistant and take a while to add up. So it gives a tiny spark of hope in case you run into that Magnezone in the back. Getting into this next match though, we got that positive lead we were hoping for. We got that Togekiss. They swapped in Machamp. I had my Togekiss, my own Togekiss line up with the Machamp. We took it out, and now we're back into this Magnezone on Togekiss matchup, and they essentially stopped attacking at one point, and then they stopped attacking again here, and they decided to give up because of how beautifully the Pokemon lined up in this match. So GG to that one, off to a 2-0 start. I'm telling you, if everybody wants to do what they did last season and run Togekiss leads, be my guest. Don't take my advice. Keep running the Togekiss leads. I will have an absolute field day, as we're going to see in this next match. So, we got another Magnezone on Togekiss lead here. My opponent decides to stay in and stick around, which I can't really blame them for, because at least trying to like get to that flamethrower can threaten the Magnezone a bit, but it takes Togekiss a while to get there, and there's no way I'm going to throw wild charges when I can still throw super effective mirror shots and potentially get debuffs like I just did. You'll notice they safe swapped in Snorlax, and typically what happens in that Magnezone Togekiss lead is I'll see the Snorlax be safe swapped in like immediately, and I still go up to the wild charge just so my Gyarados has an easier time beating the Snorlax and keeping switch advantage, because that's 100% key, keeping Magnezone lined up to every Togekiss that we potentially run into. So because I did that, I can comfortably go for these Aqua Tails. I don't need to worry about landing an Outrage, but also another thing to take note of, I'm running Aqua Tail and Outrage as the charge moves just for a slight it factor. In case we run into that Dragonite in the no shield situation, I would love to get to that Outrage and one-shot Dragonite. Plus, having Crunch is completely unnecessary for that Metagross matchup when you already have Waterfall and you already have Aqua Tail. So that's the main reason. Do I use it a lot? Not really, but Crunch is also useless for me on this current team of 3 the way that I'm running it. So Togekiss comes back in after I've taken out the Snorlax. They're getting to a charge move here. I'm not taking any chances of getting flamethrowered by a Togekiss onto my Magnezone. They go straight for it, so I'll match their shields. They decide to swap. They swap it to a Swampert, and I go into my Togekiss here. So now I slightly have to worry about the bait game. I would prefer to have a Sludge Wave not land on me. And I'm not very good at calling these big moves. The Sludge Wave does come through, unfortunately, but I will be able to do enough charm damage here where it'll get the Swampert low enough that the Magnezone can then deal with it afterwards. So they're going for another charge move. This is going to be a Hydro Cannon. I have to shield 100%. I'm going for the Ancient Power here. This will not take out the Swampert. I'm just hoping this will get the shield because they're worried about all the charm damage I'm about to do. But they decide not to shield, but because of that, I'm able to charm them down. So works out either way. Their Togekiss with a shield is not getting to a flamethrower even if they were able to take out my own Togekiss. So we say GG to that, and we go 3-0, winning both matches where we face the Togekiss lead. Now, outside of the Magnezone in the back being a weakness to this team of 3, this team has 2 other main weaknesses that kind of stick out in the meta. One of them being Haxorus, specifically in the lead position, because those counters hurt. I do have Togekiss to counter it, but I don't want to go immediately into my hard counter. I was hoping because I swapped, they swapped, and that's exactly what happened there. So now my goal in this situation, even though I'm running into a Magnezone in the back, but it's a Shadow Magnezone, so it's a bit glassier, so I have a better chance of beating it, especially because of the fact that they let that Aqua Tail go through. So I'm really just hoping I can land my Togekiss on that Haxorus after winning switch advantage. Take note, I know I'm a little behind, but I clicked that Aqua Tail. Watch what happens. I clicked it before the first one. Why didn't my click register for proper CMP? Because it should have been a tie there, which means I should have gotten my move through, and I should not have needed 2 shields in this situation to at least throw one of my Aqua Tails, which allows my opponent here to now give up switch advantage, but now have 2 shields to no shield advantage, which is extremely unfortunate for me, especially because I thought the Haxorus was going to commit to a counter down. They decided to throw their charge move. Honestly, they could have committed to a counter down, because all I got to was an Aqua Tail, but that was extremely unfortunate for me, even though I'm able to line up my Pokemon, because now I'm going into this Magnezone Metagross swapping with no shields at all, and they have both their shields. So even if I didn't over-farm there and threw the Wild Charge, this was GG. The match was over once that happened. I didn't have a huge chance to begin with, but what should have happened in that situation was I use 1 shield, get off my move, either get their shield and they have 1 shield, and then they go again, and then I end up having no shields, or maybe I take the risk and chunk that mirror shot. No, because I don't win switch advantage. I'd still have to use a shield there, and then take out the Haxorus and be down 1 shield to no shield, and maybe try to play around that. Still wouldn't have been too ideal because that Metagross probably still would have gotten off an Earthquake on my Magnezone, but still just very frustrated that played out the way it did. At least the frustrating in-game mechanic happened when I already lost lead and was most likely going to lose the match anyway. We're 3-1 in the set. We move on, going up against 24-16 Rod, and we got a Magnezone on a Metagross lead. Again, I have a certain way of playing this. Let's see if we're going to get a chance to play it out here. We're not. They're going to swap into their Conkeldurr. I have a Togekiss here. Togekiss can survive a Stone Edge, so I can commit to a complete Charm Down so that the Metagross can then come in and only farm up a little bit of energy of what's left on my Togekiss. So how I would typically play out the Magnezone Metagross lead is I would build up to 2 Wild Charges. I would let them throw their move and I would shield it no matter what. Once that happens, I would just throw back-to-back Wild Charges, and then based on how they decide to shield, I would then play out the rest of the matchup from there. But I would 100% use a shield. I don't take any chances. I don't have the kahunas to try and let an Earthquake come through, because if I decide not to shield, that Earthquake's almost 100% hitting me every time. Either way, we play that out nicely, and I'm going to actually go into Gyarados again here, because Gyarados is going to counter the Metagross harder, similarly to how we played out the first match in this set when I faced a Metagross lead there. So, I'm going for the Aqua Tail. I'm kind of expecting a Dragonite in the back, and oh, look at that. A Dragonite in the back. It could have been a couple things. It could have also been like a Snorlax because I had Conkeldurr and Metagross. But based on that logic, those are things that my Magnezone doesn't really mind seeing. Yes, Magnezone would be worried about Snorlax superpower, but you could still play to that. They farmed up a bunch of energy. I called their big move, which was huge. I shielded their Draco Meteor. Now the Dragonite's barely doing any damage with its Dragon Breaths. I throw a Wild Charge. They decide to shield, so now I'm debuffed. But because I'm not too worried about the moves coming through, I decided to charge up the 2 Wild Charges. A mistake I make here, honestly, was because their attack harshly fell, even though I lowered my defense also, I should be able to tank that that Dragon Claw, so I probably didn't even need to use a shield there, but you know, better safe than sorry. Have 2 Wild Charges. Let's make sure I get both of them off. Got another one of their shields. There's no reason to even try and play the bait game here, because I ended up getting off all 3 of these Wild Charges, and this gets the Dragonite super low. I swap into my Gyarados, and based on the way they threw their charge move, that was also a mistake on my part, because if I just would have let Magnezone in, eat the Meteor Mash, Gyarados could have finished off this game easily. Instead, we CMP tie on the charge move. They're going to get to another Meteor Mash here and take out my Gyarados, but the Metagross and the Dragonite are both low enough where my Magnezone can farm down the Metagross and then outpace the Dragonite to, well, not really to the charge move, it sparks it down as I get to the charge move, and they fall short of their Dragon Claw, and I'm able to take the 5th and final match of this set. So, this team is fairly meta-dependent based on the fact that you want to run to a bunch of Togekiss leads. But there are some content creators, like I got Mad Love for FP Sticks. He's running Togekiss lead and kind of making that popular again. So, I'm the smart content creator. Maybe you got a little hidden gem here. Running the Magnezone lead team. I'm just saying. Hopefully I can help you guys out and you guys have success with it, and maybe FP Sticks has an effect on the meta, so we're seeing a bunch of it. But I went 4-1 in this set, and then I end up getting my rating all the way up to a 27-27, which is solid, and I'm going to be working on making my biggest gains in Master Premier here. Rank 10, definitely still obtainable. 100% working toward it. And one other note about this team, I technically said there were 2 more weaknesses when we ran to the Haxorus. Mamoswine also gives this team of 3 a hard time. Now, out of those 3 Pokemon, opposing Magnezones are probably the most meta relevant, but you're bound to run into those in the lead position. Yes, obviously everybody plays differently. So yeah, you're going to run into a situation where it's in the back also, but for the most part, you'll run into them in the leads, and the mirror's not the worst thing in the world. But outside of that, this team plays very well against every other Mon in the Master Premier meta. And if you want to tell me differently, you're more than welcome to. We'll have that discussion in the comment section. So other than that, this was a team I used in Season 3. You've given me your opinions on it, but let me know what you thought of the team again now, because the meta really hasn't changed since last season for Master Premier. And also just let me know what you thought of the battles, and I'm taking submissions for Master Premier sets. The link to my Google Drive is in the description, so if you are putting together a unique team of 3 or just a dominating team of 3 in Master Premier battles, or even in regular Masters, I want to put out Master content there. I have a video or a set of battles for you guys in regular Masters that's going to come out in tomorrow's video, so I'm excited for that. But if you guys want to submit me either one of those, I'm taking both. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.